Shalom. All praise, the honor, the glory go to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and safety to the hopefully elect, the sincere Akim out there, those scattered throughout the four corners, the ones believe in the Heavenly Father's word through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And this is Zechariah 14 and verse 12. It's a private interpretation taught amongst the synagogue of Satan, the sons of perdition. That this is referring to nuclear destruction, man, intercontinental ballistic missiles, which is a private interpretation, man. I'm going to show you through the precepts. This has absolutely nothing to do with missiles, man. All right? That's just those guys' imagination, man. Y'all watching too many movies. All right? So it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. So that plague that the Lord is going to use is going to be by the way of the elect, man. Okay? That's who the Lord going to use to smite the nations, man. Smite the people. It said that have fought against Jerusalem, their flesh shall be consumed away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Now, dealing with this word consume, it's not referring to literal fire, man. All right, and I'm going to show you that through the precepts. Okay, so the same way the nations consumed Israel, devoured Israel, the same way the elect is going to consume and devour the nations, the people. All right, so let's go and read this in the NLT. Let's read this Zechariah 14 and 12 in the NLV. And this is Zechariah 14 and 12 in the NLV. It says, and the Lord will send a plague on all the nations that fought against Jerusalem, and their people will become like walking corpse, and their flesh rotten away. So it's not necessarily referring to fire, man. It's not referring to ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. That's just your imagination, man. Okay? Like I said, you watching too many movies. All right? You watching too many movies. So this is what it's referring to. Israel consuming and devouring the nations, man. Okay? So it says, their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouth. So let's go back to the King James Version. I just want to show you that that's consumed is not referring to fire, nuclear radiation, according to the synagogue of Satan, according to the sons of perdition. This Zechariah chapter 14 and 12. These plagues that's going to consume the people is referring to international continental ballistic missiles, man. All right, nuclear radiation. And there's no precepts to support that lie, man. Okay, so let me give you some precepts. The first one I want to get is I'm gonna stay in Zechariah, and I'm gonna go to verse 12, chapter 12, Salakia, chapter 12 and verse 6, and show you what that means when it referred to the nations being consumed. It says, on that day I will make the clans, Salakia, let me go back to the KJV. Go back to the KJV. So this is Zechariah 12 and 6. In that day I will make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood. So Judah, all right, The Israelites, the elect, is referred to as the fire. All right. The nations is the wood. Okay. They're using allegories, man. Okay. So it says, and like a torch of fire in a sheath. See, like a torch, not a literal fire. All right. He's just using the word fire to describe the elect. Okay. So that's the plagues that the Heavenly Father is going to use to devour and consume the nations. Okay. It's not referring to nuclear radiation, man. That's only your imaginations, man. All right. That's only in the movies, man. Remember, Esau don't have that type of capability. All right. It's all part of his deception. All right. So it says, and they shall devour all the people round about, consume the people round about. All right. So it says, on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. So it's the elect that's doing the consuming and the devouring, man. All right. This is not referring to nuclear missiles, man. Nuclear radiation, man. It's not referring to nuclear radiation. That's a private interpretation. So when you look up this word devour, let's see. It says to eat, devour, burn up, feed. It says devour. It says to consume. All right. So that's what it's referring to in Zechariah 14 and 12, man. All right. That plague that the Lord is going to send by the way of who? The elect. All right. They're going to consume and devour the nations, man. The same way the nations has consumed and devoured Israel, man. It's not referring to nuclear missiles. All right. Nowhere in that chapter, nowhere in that verse implies nuclear missiles, man. That's an example of you guys adding to the scriptures, man. And you perverting the word of the Lord and got the majority of these Israelites believing that it's referring to missiles, man. Got them believing in Esau lies that he has the capability to bring this level of destruction that he show you on his television, man, or in his movies. Okay, so that's just an example of you being deceived, man. Okay, and that's why the Bible referred to Esau as Babylon. All right, because through his confusion, he was able to deceive the whole world. And as you can see, he got these Israelites in these last days deceived. So it says to devour. It says to consume, to devour, to slay with the sword, to devour, to destroy, pestilence, drought. It says of oppression, because there's many ways to consume and devour, man. All right. There's many ways to consume and devour. Okay, we reading about it. You can slay with the sword. It says consume, destroy. It says pestilence, droughts, even oppression. Okay, so that's the point on that. Let's go back. So this is Zechariah 12:6. It says, in that day will I make the governors of Judah, Mount Zion, the elect, like a heareth of fire. See, like a heareth of fire among the wood, among the nations. So that's what the Lord is going to use to consume and devour the nations, man. All right. It's not talking literally, it's talking figuratively, man. Okay. And they shall devour, meaning consume, all the people, referring to the nations, round about, on the right hand and on the left, And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. So that's the point on that. That's the point on that. We're going to get some more precepts and bring out the edification, man. Let's go to this book of Obadiah and destroy and expose that lie. Let's destroy and expose the lie. Let's devour the lie. All right, because that's what it is, man. It's a lie. It's not biblical. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. Let's go to verse 18. Obadiah, verse 18. And it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. So this is what the Lord is going to use to devour the people, man, who he referred to as wood, okay? And the house of Esau for stubble, all right? The house of Esau for stubble, meaning to be consumed and devoured, man. Okay, so it's not referring to a literal fire. It's definitely not referring to intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. It's definitely not referring to radiation, all right? It's referring to the elect as being that fire, that flame, all right? That's the plague that the Lord is going to use to consume, all right? Consume his adversaries, man. So it says, and they shall kindle in them and devour them and consume them, man. All right. So this is the understanding. All right. That's a carnal, that's carnal, man. How y'all teach it, man. All right. Just because it say the word consume, and you saw movies about the Terminator movies. All right. Because these guys always showing images, Esau images. All right. And we're commanded not to make the Lord word, man, with Esau perverted images, man. It's all deception, man. Okay, and you guys are under the spell, man, of Esau, teaching that when it says your eyes gonna consume out their holes, that's because of radiation destruction from the nuclear missile. That's not biblical. There's no precepts to support that madness, man. And y'all got all these people out here believing that madness, man. So it says, and devoured them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. For the Lord hath spoken it. Let's look up this word, kindle. Okay, it says to burn. Now we know that fire is not referring to literal fire. All right. So it says to hotly pursue, because that's part of devouring and consuming. All right. Remember, it's not just referring to literal fire, man. He's using fire as an allegory to describe the elect. Okay. So now let's go back. Let's get another precept. Let's prove it through what's written, man, not through private interpretations, such as you guys do. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 9. And it reads, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and could pass the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from heaven. Fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Not missiles, man. Not missiles. Okay? It's not intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Okay? Fire came down from heaven. Supernatural fire, man. What is supernatural fire that come down from heaven? That's lightning bolts. That's the arrows of the Lord, man. Okay? Let's look it up. Let's see what this fire that came down from heaven. Let's see if it's referring to Esau missiles. Let's see if it's referring to Esau missiles. All right, it just says fire. Okay, it says figuratively, it says lightning, man. Lightning. That's the fire that came from heaven, man. Okay? It has nothing to do with Esau missiles, man. All right? The Lord going to use his weapons of warfare, not the so-called white man weapons of warfare, man. Okay? So it says lightning. Lightning. That's the fire that came down from heaven and devoured our enemies, man. Okay? So it says, let's get some more precepts. Let's get some more precepts and prove it through the precepts, not through Esau movies, man. Okay. That's sorcery. Okay. You guys under a spell. You suffer from the same confusion that these peons out here suffer from, man. So this is Revelation 11:4. It says these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth. And this is that fire. All right, that's referred to in Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 6. All right, this is that plague that's referred to in Zechariah chapter 14 and 12. All right, this is what the Lord is going to use to consume and devour the nations, man. Okay, so it says, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth. Not nuclear missiles, man. Has nothing to do with nuclear missiles. All right, the nations are going to be devoured and consumed by the plagues that the Most High is going to send by the way of who? Yahweh Shai, the angels, and the elect. All right, so what I'm reading here is an account of the elect. That fire in Zechariah 12 and 6. All right, that's going to devour the wood, referring to the nations, the peoples. Okay. It says, if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoured, consumed their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut the heavens, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. So these are examples of the elect bringing those plagues among the nations, man. Amongst the people. Okay, consuming and devouring the nations. All right. It says, and have power over water to turn them to blood. All right, so it's just not referring to literal fire. All right, remember, fire is a part of the Lord's plagues, and I'm going to read about it. But not only fire, man, it's pestilence. All right, it's diseases, it's the teeth of wild beasts, it's oppression. All right, it says it's famine, it's the sword. So it says, and to smite the earth with all plagues, see, all plagues, as often as they will. To smite the earth with all plagues. That's the plague that the Lord is going to send amongst our enemies to devour and consume them, man. That's the fire. Remember the book of Obadiah, the southern and northern kingdom, the same two olive trees that's spoken of here. All right, they're that consuming fire. They're the fire and the flame that's going to turn the nations into stubble, meaning to devour them. Not ICBM missiles, man. Okay. So it says, verse 7, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. So this going into something else. So let me get another precept. another precept and bring it out. So this is the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, let's see. Is it? Let's see. So this Deuteronomy, let's see, Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 41. And it says, if I wet my glittering sword, what is the glittering sword? Let's look it up. Let's see if it's talking about missiles. Let's see if the Lord glittering sword talking about missiles. As you can see on your screen, it says lightning, man. That's the glittering sword. That's the arrows of the Lord, man. That's the fire that come down from heaven. Not no goddamn missiles, man. The lightning. All right, lightning flashes. It says a flashing arrowhead. Okay, so that's the Heavenly Father's sword, his glittering sword. All right, who is referred to in the Bible as arrows, as the arrows or the fire coming from heaven. Okay, none of you guys teach about that, man. You guys too busy harping on Esau missiles. You're not teaching about the weapons of the Heavenly Father's warfare. You're not saying what the Bible's saying. You niggas looking at movies trying to make the Lord word with that bullshit, man. Trying to romanticize the Lord word. It's talking about lightning, man. The plague that the Lord going to use to consume and devour the nations is referring to the Israelites, man. Okay, so it says, in my hand take hold on judgment. So that's the judgment, not missiles, man. And I will render vengeance to my enemies. Not by using Esau missiles, man. You're not going to use Esau missiles to take out Esau, man. All right? So it says, and will reward them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood. So now what is the Lord's arrows? The glittering sword, which is what? The lightning, man. Let's look it up, man. Let's see what the Lord's arrows are. All right, it just says arrows here. As you can see on your screen, it says thunderbolts. Thunderbolts. All right, so that's the Lord's arrow, referred to as a piercer. All right, used to wound. Used to wound. All right, so these are all examples of being consumed and devoured. Okay, referred to as the plagues. Okay, the judgment of the Heavenly Father. Not referring to no goddamn Edomite missiles, man. Like I said, they don't even have that type of capability, man. This is all Edomite propaganda, rhetoric to get you to fear the so-called white man and not the Heavenly Father. Remember, it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, is the beginning of knowledge, man. And that's why you people can't receive the knowledge and wisdom of the Heavenly Father, because you don't fear him. You fear Esau and his missiles. All right? To be consumed and devoured is referring to the Lord's plagues, man. Disease, famine. Okay? Strong tempests. All right? The weapons of the Lord's warfare, man. Not no goddamn Edomite, man. So now we know that the arrows of the Lord are the Lord's thunderbolts. It says of God, thunderbolts. Okay? Thunderbolts. Something that we all have witnessed. No one on earth living today ever witnessed a nuclear destruction, man. No one ever witnessed it. The reason you people believe that is because you heard it from the so-called white man. You're under a spell, man. You're under a spell. That's why it says he deceived the whole world through. He's a literal sorcerer, man. And that's what that TV is used for, man. Like I said in the previous video, so he could tell his vision, so he can cast his spells. All right? That's why it's referred to as the broadcasting system. It's the system used for the so-called white man to cast his spells on the masses. That's what he used to push his deception. So that's the understanding. So let's read on. It says, I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon my enemies. Upon my enemies. It says, rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. Just like it said in Zechariah 14, man. He ain't talking about no missiles, man. The Lord gonna use his weapons of warfare to bring the vengeance, man, on the so-called white man, right? Like he been doing from the beginning of time. The Lord have been bringing destruction from the beginning of time, and he never needed the tools of another nation. He never needed the so-called white man missiles to bring destruction on a mass scale, man. So Zechariah 14 is not talking about no goddamn missiles, man. All right? So let's get some more precepts. Let's go to Jeremiah 10. Get the book of Jeremiah chapter 10. And verse 25. So this is Jeremiah 10:25, and it says, pour out my fury upon the heathen that know thee not, and upon the families that call not on thy name, for they have eaten up Jacob. See, this is an example how the nations have consumed and devoured Jacob. Not with nuclear missiles. Okay? So the same way the nations have devoured and consumed Jacob, the same way the Lord is going to use the elect to consume and devour the nations, man. So it says they have eaten up Jacob and devoured him, consumed him, and have made his habitation desolate. So this is an example of being consumed and devoured. Your habitation being made desolate by the way of slavery, all right, war, all right. We have many examples throughout the scriptures of the nations devouring and consuming Israel, man. Even to this same day, we're being devoured and consumed, okay? And it's not talking about literal fire, man. That's not the only way to consume something, man. You guys are carnal, man. Okay? So that's the point on that. It's just an example of how the nations consumed and devoured Israel. Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 27 and verse 2. It says, when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. To what? Devour his flesh. So this is not referring to your flesh being literally burnt on fire, man. All right? Meaning to consume and devour you, rather to rob you, all right? To wound you, okay? Let's look up this word eat up, man. Let's see what it's referring to when it says eat up the flesh. Okay, now we know it says to eat, to burn, to feed. It says, to devour, to consume, to slay with the sword, pestilence, drought, of oppression, to be wasted, destroyed, of flesh. Not referring to nuclear missiles, man. It says to consume, man. All right? That's what it's referring to, man. It's not referring to what you guys teach, man. Nuclear missiles, man. There's no examples. There's no evidence of any nuclear destruction. Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a hoax, man. It was carpet bomb, man. There's plenty of evidence out there. There's plenty of evidence out there. You guys just want to believe that, man, because it fits with your doctrine. But when you search the precepts, that's not biblical, man. So according to you guys, Zechariah 14 and 12 is talking about nuclear destruction. Esau radiation, which he don't have those capabilities, man. So this is Isaiah. Let me give you an example of what Zechariah was referring to. The book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse, verse 17. It says, and the light of Israel shall be for a fire. See, the light of Israel shall be for a fire, using fire as an allegory describing the Israelites. And his Holy One for a flame. And it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day. So this is an example of Israel being referred to as fire, consuming the nations, referred to as the briars and the thorns, man. All right, that same wood that's referred to in Zechariah 12 and 6. So this is an example of what Zechariah was talking about. Okay, not dealing with nuclear missiles. And it shall consume the glory of his forest, shall consume the nations, shall consume the people, consume and devour. All right, it's not referring to missiles. All right, or even literal fire, man. The fire is just an allegory using Israel, man, which is the Lord is going to use to bring the plagues upon the nations, and of his fruitful field, both soul and body, and they shall be as when a standard bearer fainteth. And the rest of the trees of the forest shall be few, and a child may write them, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, that devoured them, and consumed them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. And the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, into the mighty power. For through thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. So this is referring to the elect, man. Let's go back to that Zechariah. This is referring to the elect. It's not referring to missiles, man. The same way you niggas private interpret Joel chapter 2. It's referring to the angels, but you niggas say it's referring to the missiles. There's nothing talking about missiles in these chapters, man. Okay? That's just you guys' imagination, man. That's them false doctrines taught to you by those wicked niggas, man. So it says, this is Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. All right, so that plague that the Lord going to use is going to be that flame and that fire, Judah and Joseph. Okay? Remember, we read it in Obadiah. We read it in Zechariah 12. We read it in Isaiah. So it says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet. So they're just going to be consumed and devoured by the Israelites, man. Okay? It's not talking about Terminator, man, and Esau nuclear missiles. He don't have that type of capability, man. No one ever witnessed that on earth. It's all propaganda, bullshit, lies. That's all it is, man. Okay? You niggas get that shit from a movie. The same way you get the rest of your doctrines from a goddamn movie. The Lord going to use earthquakes, lightning bolts. That's his glittering swords. Hailstones. Famines. Okay? That's what the Lord going to use. So it says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right, this is not talking literal. This is talking figuratively, man. They're going to be consumed and devoured by the plagues that the Lord going to send by the way of the elect, man. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one his hand on his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, okay, using what? The plagues, the raining fire from heaven, the lightning bolts, all right? They're not going to fight. Uh, this don't have nothing to do with nuclear missiles, man. Let's read on and prove it. Fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathens round about shall be gathered together. So this is an example of the elect consuming and devouring the people. All right? It's not talking about literal fire, man. All right? It says the wealth of the heathen round about shall be gathered together. Gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. So this is another example on how the nations are going to be consumed and devoured. It says, and so shall it be the plague of the horse and the mule and the camel and of the ass and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as the plague. All right, so it says, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left, all of the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of the tabernacle. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth into Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon him shall be no rain. So these are just ways that the Lord is going to consume and devour the nations, man. All right, by spoiling them of their goods, their gold and silver, oppressing them, okay, wounding them, all right, bringing pestilence, all right, disease among their beasts, all right, that it don't rain, okay, hold back the rain. So these are all examples of the weapons of the Lord's warfare. This is what the Lord used, all right. This don't have nothing to do with Esau, man, and his fake missile hoax, all right, his intercontinental ballistic missile hoax that you guys teach as the Lord's truth, man. So that's basically the point, man. With that, I'm going to say shalom.